Hey, what's up guys, Matt from TeamVLR here. I've got a set preview for the Dark Illusion, which is coming out very soon in the TCG. The sneak peek's actually this weekend at the time of recording, and it's coming out next week, also at the time of recording. This set is a it's decent. It's not bad. It does give us the best sort of generic staple kind of support since Bosch in Pot of Cupidity and Cosmic Cyclo, but in this video we're going to cover some of the things you might want to look for in this set, some of the things you might not mind pulling from the set, and some of the things that might be a bit more fun to use in the set. We're not going to cover the entire set. There are other videos that do that. This is just going to be a sort of a quick video on what you should look for or what might be fun to play. So first off, the one that most people know about is the Dark Magician support. The one that's been fairly hyped. It's not meta per se. It's more of a solid tier 2 fun deck with the cards you're going to want to look for if you're going to run Dark Magician is Magician's Rod, Magician of Dark Illusion, Dark Magic Circle, and Magician's Navigate. Or I guess Magician's Magician's Navigation, I guess is what it is in TCG. These are the cards that Dark Magician really needs to be a good deck, and you're gonna want to run 3 of these, maybe 2 of this, but you're gonna want to run 3 of these. It's a fun deck to play. I've played it, and we have a deck profile of it on this channel. I like playing it, but maybe not. It doesn't have that much in the way of meta implications. You might just see a lot of people running it for a little bit, like after the release of the Dark Illusion at your locals, but after that it may not get as much play. But in terms of meta implications, then now we have Metal Foes on. Just move this is long here. Metal Foes are definitely going to be a part of the meta, and most of the cards you're gonna need if you're gonna use Metal Foes come out in this set. I know Yang Zing players are definitely excited about this because this speeds up their deck so much. But there's also different ways to use Metal Foes that I've seen based on what's going on in Japan. And this archetype, they're not even that hard. Probably wouldn't even be that hard to pull because they're mostly commons and rares with a couple super rares. So this is definitely something to look out for. In terms of value, there probably won't be that much because of the low rarity, but definitely look for these if you're looking to use them in Yang Zings. If you have a Yang Zing deck, or maybe something else that benefits off of being destroyed. Then let's begin to a bit of some of the generic kind of staples. I didn't really do any of this in any specific order in terms of the set list. I just went along and just picked cards out based on what I thought would be relevant. But now we have, so during staples, we'll start with Floodgate Trapple. So when your opponent summons a monster, you change that monster to face down defense position, and monsters change to face down that defense position by this effect cannot change their battle positions. So that in and of itself is just very, very, very useful. Imagine if your opponent pendulum summons a bunch of things and you activate this on them, then all of their cards are going to flip face down. Or your opponent summons one of their boss monsters, this will flip that thing face down. Just very useful to help you get over things. Those cards can be flipped face up. They can't change their battle positions, so you can deal with whatever that card is whenever you want to most of the time, unless your opponent can do something about that card. But this is a pretty good ultra rare. It would be an ultra rare you wouldn't mind pulling. It's one of the better ultras. Then you have Premature Return. I don't know if this card would be as that relevant right now, maybe in the future. So this might be a card you might want to keep or buy cheap. So you banish one card from your hand and target one of your banished monsters, special summon in face down from the defense position. I want to see how this does with sub-terrors, depending on the rest of the support they get over time. But it's a decent card, but not the greatest. But maybe keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the sub-terrors, and we'll see about this card. Kind of iffy on it right now, but it's not a terrible card. Now the two best cards in the set, in my opinion, and a lot of people others' opinions, is Cosmic Cyclone, or our Cosmic Cyclone, and Pot of Desires, or Cupidity, as most people know it by. Now, Cosmic Cyclone is essentially a banishing MST, so you pay 1,000. Target a spell or trap card on the field and banish it. So this thing is so useful. So useful. It's not so much Twin Twister where you destroy two, but hypothetically you can be using this on Cosmo Town, so they don't get the destruction effect of Cosmo Town. You can use it on, you can actually use it on Pantheism and the Monarchs. They do still get to draw two, but then they can't go plus, because they won't be able to banish it from their graveyard. Use it on Fogblade and PKs or whatever trap they're going to use, so they can't special summon a Phantom Knight from the grave later on. Just very, even Blue Eyes. Use it on their Gospel Revival or Return of the Dragon Lords. Banish that so they don't get the prevent the destruction effect. It's just a really good card. I think it'll probably be the second most expensive card in the set. We'll see. I'm not going to predict an actual price, but definitely something to look for. And then Pot of Desires. Banish 10 cards in your deck face down to draw 2, or the top of your deck, then draw 2. You can only activate Pot of Cupidity or Desires once per turn. This thing is going to be the most expensive card in this set, hands down. We're probably looking at release, Solemn Strike prices, maybe a little bit less, but this is the best generic sort of staple we've gotten since Solemn Strike. A lot of decks are using this in the OCG. I personally don't like it, but that's literally just my personal way of playing and my preference. I understand and realize this is an amazing card, and I would be ecstatic if I pulled it in a pack. I just wouldn't use it, but that's me. Most of you guys will probably use it, some of you might not. It's entirely up to your playstyle, but just this is the card in the set, the best card. You definitely want to hope that this is your secret, and honestly, just it's a really good card. That's all I have to say about that. Then we get into a bit more of an interesting archetype. This one's new. It's the TCG Exclusive, and it's Sub-Terrors. Now, Konami thinks this is going to be the meta archetype out of their two new TCG exclusives in Spirals and Sub-Terrors based on the rarities, and based off their effects, it very much looks like they will be. I would definitely keep an eye on these. Maybe buy them while they're cheap, because my personal prediction is they will be a meta deck once they get more support. So maybe buy them now while they're cheap, and then get as I would compare them to Cosmos in terms of them being meta, in the sense that Cosmos were TCG exclusive and they rolled out slowly over the span of about 2 years, maybe. And these are going to be the equivalent of that. I don't think Spirals will be meta. I think Spirals are just more fun. So definitely keep an eye on these. Right now they combo kind of well with Prediction Princess. The Ritual one, Tao Tray, I believe how you pronounce it. That you could run it now, but it won't be meta. But we'll see what happens in Invasion of Venom. But in terms of the additional support they'll get, so definitely keep an eye on these. Then Block Dragon. This is a personal choice of mine, and not so much for now, but for the future, because I believe this card does have potential if Konami can make a good rock archetype, because its summoning condition is really good. If this were like a light or a dark and it had the same summoning conditions, it would be insane. What this card does is you can special summon it from the graveyard or your hand by banishing 3 earth monsters from your hand and or graveyard, which is really not that hard if they can make a good archetype, or shouldn't be too hard at least. Then rock type monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle, so they can't be destroyed by card effects. And then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock type monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total levels equal 8. And you can only use that effect once per turn. But you have the potential to go +3 when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, which is just insane. The only problem is there is no good rock or rock earth archetype right now. But this is definitely one of those cards where it's going to be cheap at release, and then if Konami ever does make a good rock archetype, it's going to be one of those cards that just skyrockets in price. That's my personal prediction. It may never come true, but that's just the way I feel about it. Then we have Shiranui Solitaire. That name is... sure. Whatever. They should have kept it as Sage, but we'll take it. This card definitely helps Shiranui's out a lot. It's their instant rank 4. I've been told it can make level 8 synchros. I don't know a ton about Shiranui's. I want to pretend that I do, but I know that this will definitely help them quite a bit, and it's done fairly well in the OCG with this card. Those might be something to look for if you're running Shiranui's. Scapegoat, I like the artwork on this card. I know it was a promo in the Shining Victories, but it does work with Solitaire, because that is a card you can special summon with Solitaire's effect. So there's potential for level 5 synchros, or if you can somehow flip this face up, or your opponent does for you, you can use Solitaire's effect on one of the tokens. So pretty useful there. Then Fairy Tale Snow. This card has been doing fairly well in the OCG. It's been teched into... I've seen Masked Heroes so far, I've seen Lightsworns, there may be more. If you know of any, let me know in the comments below. But this card has been doing really well. When this is summoned, normal or special, you can target one face of monster your opponent controls and flip it to face down position, or defense position, which is just really good in and of itself. But then there's a second effect. During either player's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and your graveyard. Special summon this card. Really good there, although banishing 7 is quite a bit. But depending on the situation, it may not be that detrimental on can-winning games, and this card has been topping or helping decks top in the OCG for a reason. It is short printed, so definitely something you might want to look out for in this set. Then we have Tramids, and before Chicken Game got hit, or Chicken Race, they had some potential as an archetype, but they did have the potential to be that good rock archetype, but honestly, this is mainly going to be a fun deck to play on the side. They aren't going to be that good. There's really no meta implication here, it's more of a just for fun. I don't know, maybe someone can do something with this, but it's something to just keep in mind on the side. But I mean, Sphinx looks kind of cool. I mean, there's that. But that's kind of about it. Then Paleozoics have arrived in the TCG, but they are kind of missing half the archetype. But they're here. Again, not really much meta implication here, more of a just a side kind of thing. They are kind of annoying to deal with as someone playing them, so there's that. They're not that bad. They're a decent little deck, but until they get the rest of their support, they won't be doing much. Then we have Trains, which are also finally here in this beast. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Superior Dora. Honest, this thing is insane. Once returned during either player's turn, you detach a material from this card, then target one phase of monster on the field is unaffected by other card effects. This thing's 4,000 defense, and it can be unaffected by card effects, which is ridiculous. And really a super rare to look out for. The other two cards are common, but Trains are finally here. Some people are actually really looking forward to that. Should all Trains are a thing, I know that. So this thing, I think this archetype is something to be excited about. Maybe not meta, but pretty good. And then the other TCG exclusive archetypes, Spirals. I don't think these are going to be meta. I think this is again just another fun archetype. They're actually fairly interesting because you know, you're kind of like a spy. You're looking at the top of your opponent's deck, and predicting things based off of that, based off the information you already have. And it's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I like the archetype, it's interesting. But in terms of just being competitive and in the meta, I don't think they're going to be that. Then there were two cards left. Nirvana High Paladin and Coral Dragon, two new synchros. Nirvana High Paladin, I actually, in months of playing on Death Row, have never encountered this card. Never played it. I've only seen it in a replay once. So its pendulum effect is that pendulum monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle while attacking, and you take no damage from those attacks. And then at the end of the damage step, if a pendulum monster you control attack, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to the attack of the attacking monster until the end of this turn. That's not that bad, but its monster effect is if synchro summon using this card, you can treat one pendulum summon pendulum monster. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. You control as a tuner monster for that summon. If this card is synchro summon using a pendulum summon pendulum monster as a tuner monster, you can target one card in your graveyard and add to your hand. It's a pretty decent effect. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can have your opponent's life points. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle, or card effect and placed in your pendulum zone. That have your opponent's life points effect is nuts. That is insane. It's definitely a pretty good card. It does need a non-tuner synchro monster, much like Crystal Wing. So you may have to tailor a deck to summon this, but that effect of having your opponent's life points is really, really good, as well as the adding from the graveyard to your hand, another really good effect. And it's the cover card, always cool to pull, very nice to have. And then Coral Dragon. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then target an opponent, one card your opponent controls, and destroy it. Pretty good effect, but the second effect is the better effect. If the synchro summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw one card, and you can only use this effect of Coral Dragon once per turn. So when you inevitably tribute this to summon Ultimaya, or you're using it for Quasar play, whatever the case is, you're drawing a card, which is really, really good. And while this thing is a secret rare, and probably one of the better level 6 synchros out there, so definitely send that on TCG. But anyways, that was the maybe not quick, but the set preview for what you might want to look for, what might be fun to use. Did I forget anything? If I did, please comment below, let me know what I missed for future videos on set previews, because there is quite a bit coming out over the next few months. We've got the new Duelist pack, Dragons of Legends Unleashed, the new legendary decks I may do a preview on, probably not, but you never know. It just depends on what we get out of those legendary decks, because right now they seem like they'll be really good. And eventually Invasion of Venom. So please let me know if I missed anything, and if you have any suggestions on what people might want to look for, what you might be looking for, please comment below. And if you liked what you watched / heard, please like and subscribe. So anyways guys, it's Matt from TeamVLR signing out.